We are for the second half of the workshops that I have put together for you under We Are All Leaders, and this is called Showing Up for Others. These 5 qualities, characteristics, are ones that show up on the outside. People can actually see us doing them or not doing them, and that's how they evaluate, from their perception, our worth as a leader. So they're important. We took care of the inside stuff, right? We've got those game plans going. Now hopefully you've read the chapter on treating people with respect. That's the first of the 5 on showing up for others. And treating people with respect deals with a really strong emotion, and that emotion is love. I remember the first time I used that in a corporate training setting, and it was just almost as though people were repulsed by love, and that's sad to me. Love thyself as thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love, it's an important piece in relationships, not just the way people bring it about, but love is a deep-rooted emotion, and the more love we feel for others, the more we can honestly respect them and build respect with them. In fact, the second book I wrote called Introducing Love, A New Corporate Paradigm, I did that for a reason. I know the title's turned off some folks out there, but I did that to just show that love's such an important piece that's missing in the corporate world. Favorite quote by Maya Angelou: people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. We need to make people feel important. We need to treat them with respect. So one of the opportunities that I had, I went to work with a friend of mine, and he was the vice president of this department. And he and I really needed to change the perception of senior management with his crew. And we're talking 267 people on this crew that had such a rotten view of senior management that they had just tried to strike, tried to change to a union house. They had a campaign, and luckily it was narrowly defeated. But that was creating an impasse. We weren't getting the most work out of the folks. They were not enrolled in anything that we were doing. And so we really needed change that perception, and we did it. It took us a little while, but not as long as I thought, through showing them that we actually respected them and we treated them as the important people that they are. You talk about assets, you talk about those kind of things. The people who are really making things happen. The gentleman I was working with and I couldn't make things happen unless we had that team. And by treating them with respect, we turned that place around. So the other thing when we're talking about respect is just not the outward things that we do that, but there's also an important thing called self-deception. A great book by the Arbinger Institute. People can tell when we're being coped with, manipulated, or outsmarted, and we generally resent that, no matter how skilled they are at people skills, or how fluid they are. We can tell when we're being toyed with, and we resent that, right? We can see how people are feeling towards us, and we respond to that. That way, people generally only follow you through force or coercion. And that's not leadership. That's not leadership. You need to earn the respect of your followers. Respect's a two-way street. It was a great story about Dwight D. Eisenhower and what he did when he was looking for other leaders to run different departments. He did what he called a string test. And he'd put a string on his desk and say, okay, please move that string to the other side of the desk. And they would start pushing the string and it would bunch up and that. And he would stop them. He says, okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Because he knew when you push things just like people, it was going to work efficiently. He said, here's what I'm looking for. Someone to get out front, and he grabbed the front of the piece of the string and he pulled it across the table and lead my team. Treating people with respect, important piece. Probably one of the biggest, I guess, easiest ways to turn around another team's belief and perception on who you are as a leader is by treating them with respect. So go ahead and do the game plan for this, and I'll pick it up with you in my next video on listening to understand.